there's something nice about going to do a 9 to 5. You check out on the weekend. It's your boss's problem. I'm having my weekend off and I come back and I pick up.
For sure. I mean, I think the biggest challenge for people like me who run companies is to find.
And I asked Gary the same question: at what point does patience become delusion? Because now you're advising people on stopping their business on Dragon's Den. How do you come up with that time frame?
First of all, let me tell you that I learn a lot from Gary. I watch all of his TikToks. I'm 57 years old, and I listen to Gary, and I listen to the way he communicates his thoughts about life and business, and I admire him, and I find truth in many things that he says, and I learn from him. So that's number one. Number two, I talk to young and old entrepreneurs about really one thing: milestones. Set milestones. You can change them, but set them. We need to be at $1 million of annual recurrent revenue within a year from now. Okay, well, a year comes. You're at 100,000. Why are you off by 90%? Is it because your timing was off and you're hitting and it's going to be okay? Or is it because you were wrong and you're not going to get there? Is it because that your milestone was the wrong number, that you should never have thought you would get there, that 500 is the right number? I just think that making yourself accountable, let's say you're an aspiring actor or actress, right? And you're 18 years old. Now you can go through your entire life going to, read scripts and going to auditions. And for some people you should, because the dream can always come true. But some people need to set milestones. Like if I haven't gotten my first commercial by the time I'm 30, maybe I should consider something else. By the time I'm 40. So I just believe in setting yourself these milestones, or else you end up on a treadmill and you really don't realize how far you've gone, or how far you haven't gone, how you've been running in place and you haven't actually, gained any distance.
Watching shows like Shark Tank, Dragon's Den, and seeing the rise of social media, the entrepreneurs come in. You're a lawyer who then went to business. I rejected law school, made my mother cry, said I was going to start a t-shirt company, made her cry even more. Do you think, and that was almost 15 years ago. Do you think right now entrepreneurship's being romanticized too much? That now it's become glory and people think, wow, okay, it's that easy. I go watch Shark Tank. I go watch Dragon's Den. I listen to what Mitch just said to this person. I go apply it to my business. Now I'm a business person.
I don't think it's Shark Tank. I think it's a combination of social media. The same way that Instagram will maybe fat shame people and make sort of this skinny model look become the aspiration. And so I'm using women as an example, but every woman looks perfect, but we all know that every woman or every man aren't perfect. That's not a reflection of the real world, but it becomes the reflection of the real world. And now you have these young people thinking they have to look like that or be like that. Well, these valuations that we're seeing today are maybe romanticizing how easy it is to get a unicorn. All of a sudden, now there's hundreds of new unicorns every year. Billions and trillions of dollars in venture capital being deployed. Crypto goes from $10 to $69,000 on Bitcoin, right? Or Coinbase goes from a 2 billion valuation to 100 billion, back to 80 billion. These numbers are real, but for a very, 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 very small number of companies and a very, very, very small number of individuals who got to benefit from them. But it doesn't seem that way. It just seems like everyone's making money from crypto. Well, it's not true. Right? I know lots and lots and lots of people, and very few of them have made a fortune on crypto. But the perception is making people feel that millions is the norm, billions is the norm, seed rounds at 100 million valuation is the norm. It's not the norm, but that's what you're seeing on, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or wherever you're getting your information from. So you need to realize it's still as hard to build a business that has recurrent revenue and profit margin and getting customers to want to buy your product or service as it used to be. There's more ways to do it. The platforms have allowed you to be a much more global creative entrepreneur, but it's still very, very hard.
Watching or being a judge, I guess, or a dragon on Dragon's Den, do you see that there's a lot of people who should never be business owners? Like, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, because there's times that I wish I was wired differently. There are times I wish I could go, I could go get a 9 to 5. And I know that's not entrepreneurial to say, and that goes against the norm, but there are times when my brain just doesn't shut off, where I go to bed and I think about the business. I wake up, I think about the business. I'm with my kids, something bad happens, I end up thinking about the business. There's something nice about going to do a 9 to 5. You check out on the weekend. It's your boss's problem. I'm having my weekend off and I come back and I pick up.
For sure. I mean, I think the biggest challenge for people like me who run companies is to find, we're always searching for that perfect kind of perfect employee, which is someone who goes to bed thinking about the business and wakes up thinking about the business. And of course, has some balance in their life with family and recreation and travel, et cetera. And so what we don't usually want is the punching 9 to 5, but there are, really good punching 9 to 5 jobs. And there are people that are perfectly suited for punching 9 to 5 jobs. I think the idea is all about self-awareness. Why is it that you feel you can't work for someone? Why is it that you feel that since you can't work for someone, that you have the entrepreneurial ability to build a business, operate a business, grow a business, and earn a living for you and your family from that business? So there's a lot of elements that go into who you are and knowing who you are. So you do have a lot of failed entrepreneurs who convince themselves that they shouldn't be working for someone. And, if I look at my career, I have always been working for someone, and I'm proud of it. Whether it was the board of directors, whether it was the chairman of the board, whether it was the shareholders, whomever it was, I was working for them. I always felt that I was working for the shareholders. I was working to be able to convey a story to the analysts. I was working to execute a business plan that I had put before the board of directors and that they had approved. I was working for someone so that I could meet the numbers that were in the budget and hopefully exceed the revenue and hopefully increase the margin in the business. So I was always working for somebody. And as long as you're working for somebody that you can work for, or some group of people that you can work for, I've never obviously found anything about working for people that was beneath me. I have met a number of people who are either, it's not beneath them, they're wired that they need to work on their own, that's fine. But I have met people who think it's beneath them to work for someone. And those are the people that I try to convince that that should not be the case.
You've grown a lot of businesses. You've invested a lot. I think one area that's not talked enough about when it comes to growing businesses is the principle of compounding, right? So we get it from an investment point of view, but usually entrepreneurs, they want to go all in on one thing, or they chase the latest hack, strategy, get rich quick type of approach. But if they just focus on the core areas of their business and got incrementally better, like 10% better in each one of those areas, it would have a compounding effect to monumental, huge growth. How important has that principle of compounding been for you when growing a business?
Yeah, I think, I got wealthy slowly. So, there are two ways to do it. You get a hit, you get a home run, grand slam home run. Many people have gotten one. Mark Cuban got a grand slam home run, and from there he's been able to parlay that into a lot of incredible things. Elon Musk, as another example, he did okay. Then he sold to PayPal. Then he did well. If you look at where he's at today, he made like 100 million maybe or less at PayPal. And then he parlayed that. So, I think that if you're in a business, focus is the most important thing, and focusing at what you're good at is even more important than that. So get rich quick is not a business model. Get rich quick is an outcome. You got rich quick. I don't believe you could plan it. I don't believe you can say, okay, listen, I'm starting a business, I'm going to get rich quick. You could say it, but you can't plan it. So all the people that were in get rich quick schemes, they actually got rich quick. All the people who have been very successful have probably not known how it was going to turn out, and they made a lot of right decisions and some wrong decisions, and that's part of the journey. So, I think it's all about focus and decision making, and being able to pivot when you need to, and change your mind when you need to, and change strategy when you need to. It's not easy, and for some people it's easy, but for the great, for the mass number of us, it's not simple.